بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome all of you, wherever you are. I welcome you again with your program Fatwa Life. The first question today. A father that's considered clinically dead over a year, but he still have that life support system. And his family is around him. And one of his kids, he insisting that he wants to take his inheritance. Since he's dead clinically, why don't we consider him like he's dead and let's divide his inheritance? Is that accepted Islamically? That's the question. Don't look at the moral issue. This is not what the question is. But talking about what is the true death? It is when the spirit leaves the body. That you know that he is dead. The one who is on the life support system, there's two different decisions. The first one, one of them, he says that the sick person who is on life support, you can take it if all his brain, there is no more brain communications. And there's 3 expert doctors that are expert in this field, that this is no return. Even if the heart and there's breathing and they're still working under the equipment. But look, he is not dead Islamically until the breathe stops and the heart stops completely after you take those equipment. So if we took those life support system, but he still, there is like heartbeat or the breathing, even it is lightly. We cannot wash him, we cannot put his clothes and put him in his casket until he is decided that he is dead by the heart, the stoppage of the heart and the breathing after taking the life support system out. The International Fiqh Committee, they say, he is considered that he's dead and all the Shara condition applies if one of the two signs applies. If his heart and his breath stops completely. And the doctors, they said, this is no return for this. The second one, all his brain communication stopped completely. And the doctors and the experts said, this is no return and he's brain dead. And then his brain starts demolishing. No one can ask the inheritance until you take the life support system and the heart stops and the breathing stops completely. The inheritance from its conditions, the death of the person who is inherited. And the person who inheriting is alive. There is no inheritance or talk about inheritance until the death is certain, happen. And there is no fiqh committee for it. Let's suppose one of them is died in one accident. What's going to happen? All of these details are, we could talk about it later on. But from the conditions of inheritance, the person who is inherited is dead, and the one who inherited is still alive. And when we talk about the inheritance, if someone got married and he told his wife before he married, I'll give you some money you you give up your inheritance rights. That is not allowed for any human to play, because Allah said, whomever disobey Allah and His message and go beyond His limit, you will enter the hellfire, and he enter in it forever, and he get a very humiliating punishment. This is a warning for those who try to to play with the inheritance rules. So no one can talk about inheritance until the person is dead and the one who inherits is still alive. So take that right, that there's no right before the death is not accepted. When it is accepted, if he died originally, then and there's a discussion maybe and promises, negotiate, and it's not obligatory. If she decided, well, I want to give up my right of inheritance for his kids or for his orphans, or I want to do whatever, it's up. That's her right, but without force, without. But to be asked before the death that she gives up her right of inheritance, no, that is not accepted in Islam. Then after that, the pain that I talked to, I'm gonna say it at the end of this fatwa. A father is fighting death over a year, and the only concern of the son is to look at the inheritance. This is painful. If it rained gold, nothing is equal the existence of the father. This father who supported you all his life, he got you young, newborn, and he took care of you. If one night you are complaining, he will not sleep. He will stay awake the whole night, as if he is the one who's sick, not you. And the eye of the father is always concerned, afraid for anything to harm you, and knows that death is coming, no doubt. So when he reached that hour, you were very rough, as if you are the one who is doing me a favor. How could a father who took care of his kids all his life, and he spent all his life taking care of his kids, and the father is fighting death through those equipment, and the son is asking for his inheritance? How could that be? Indeed, this is something regretful. Don't think Allah is not aware of what you are doing. So, my son, life is what comes around goes around. Plant today so you could cultivate tomorrow. And don't forget, Allah Azza wa Jal is there and He does not die. We have seen this in all the inspiration of the prophet's message, and we saw it in our own eyes. How many people we've seen them who did their parents wrong, and they have to go through the same thing again when they get older. All of this in a book. Allah does not forget. Allah does not forget. Second question. Today is Monday and tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow is the night of the half of the Sha'ban. Can you specify it for anything, or can you fast that day? To only have it for, because it's 15th of Sha'ban, there is no foundation. But to fast the 13th, 14th, and 15th, it's permissible. So fast it with that intention. That's the sunnah. The sunnah is not to fast the 15th by itself. You can do it in every month, and among it is Shahr Shaban. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to fast the days, the days, which are 13, 14, 15. And he fasted in Shaban more than any other month. When he was asked about this, he said this is a month a lot of people are unaware of its importance between Ramadan and Rajab. And it is people that unaware of its importance, and I want my deed be taken to Allah Azza wa Jal while I'm fasting. That's as far as fasting. Not to make any specific prayers or not. No. First of all, it has a very important value. In it, Allah Azza wa Jal have forgiveness and a supplication that is answered. In the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah look at his creations in the night of the 15th of Sha'ban, the middle of Sha'ban, and he forgive all his creations except someone who committed partnership with Allah or someone who have an animosity towards somebody else, someone who still have fighting with somebody. Ibn Hajar Haythami says that night it has an importance that Allah gives special forgiveness and answer. So there's nothing wrong for the individual night standing, but not to call people to do it. That we do in Taraweeh. And there is so many hadith on the middle, and some of the scholars, some of the companions, they used to do it, but individually. So you don't deny somebody who copy them, but not to do it in congregation, in calling people to do it. A question that came so many times, last time and the one before that, I did not pay attention to it. Why the Isa was called Messiah and the Khadr green? First of all, Isa, peace be upon him, it's one of the honorable, dignified messengers and prophets of Allah. Allah sent him to the sons of Israel. Allah taught him the book and the Torah and Bible, and he came to support what came in the Torah, supporting it, believing in it, and he changed some of his rules. He used to speak in Hebrew. And he was called like this, the Messiah, because if he wiped on the one with the who cannot see, or the one who has skin disease, Allah will heal them. Ash-Shawkani says, and the Messiah, it was, where did he taken? Where did that name came from? They said because he used to go around on the earth. He goes around. He didn't stay in one place in too long. So he kept going in the land of Allah. And it was said because no one he could touch with a problem, Allah will heal him. Also because he used to wipe the oil that the Prophet used to do. Or he had a flat foot. And they said because he wiped the sins. He did not have any sins. But what is more strong that he used to wipe on the one with a skin disease or who cannot see, Allah will heal him with his permission, Allah's permission. But Al-Khadr, the green, why he was called green? Because he sat on a white wool and is shaken and became green, meaning the land that was so that was there was nothing in it. Just because he sat on it, became green. And it was said that yellow or white cultivation that is already dead, and that when he sit on it, it becomes green. People, the scholars, they disputed whether he was a prophet or a righteous person. It looks from what that he was a prophet, because he said, "I didn't do it on my order. This is what you did not have patience on." So whatever, whether he's a prophet or righteous person, he is from Allah's miracles on that He supported him with. And nothing is beyond Allah's bounty and capability. طيب, how about the name Israel? What does it mean? This is in our nowadays, it has to do with a painful memory, because talking about the occupied land of Palestine by the Zionist movement. Israel is the prophet of Allah, Yaqub, son of Ishaq, son of Ibrahim, peace be upon all of them. He is the honorable, the son of an honorable, son of the honorable. A prophet, son of a prophet, son of a prophet. He was mentioned in the Quran with his name Yaqub, and sometimes with the name Israel. Allah said all the food was permissible to sons of Israel except what Israel himself had forbidden on himself before the Torah descended. And it was mentioned in the Quran 43 times. But the name Yaqub was mentioned 16 times. There is no connection between Yaqub, the Prophet of Allah, with the transgressions and the oppressive regime that is attributing themselves to him, and they are occupying and doing all the corruption on earth. Because he ordered his sons on monotheism and to purity to Allah. He said, Allah said, were witnesses when Yaqub was about to die, and he told his sons, "What do you worship after me?" They said, "Worship your Lord, the Lord of your fathers, Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, one Lord, and we are to him, we are submitters." So they said, "We worship your Lord and the Lord of your father and forefathers, Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, one Lord, and to him we are submitters, we are Muslims." The word Israel means the slave of Allah, Abdullah, the slave of Allah, the servant of Allah. May Allah take this oppressive regime from Islam, and not to connect the beautiful name of Yaqub and the aggressions that are done under his name, or people who are using his name and they are corrupted on earth. Is Yaqub is the one who said, "Do not deny except you are Muslims. You don't worship after me." They said, "We worship your Lord and the Lord of your father." Is he connected who are saying that Allah is poor and they are rich? Who are saying that Allah is miser and they are generous? Allah but curse their hands. His hands are wide open. He spend any way he wish. Allah heard those who said that Allah is poor and they are rich. Allah will write what they have written, and the killing of the prophets unjustly, and will say, "Get the punishment of the hellfire." That's what you have provided to yourselves, and Allah is not doing wrong to His creations or His servants. Because of what they did, we have made their hearts harsh. They are changing the word from its place, and they forgot what they were reminded of. And you still look at a part of it, except for a few, so forgive them. Allah loves those who are good doers. But Allah guide us to among those that He has guided. So if we take this to another financial issue, someone is sent to me, I want to buy a car through. It's not unnecessary. I have another car. So what is the problem? This is an Islamic. First of all, it will bet me to buy the car under my name, and everything goes to my account. Then there is a check with the name of the seller. I don't do nothing to that money. I cannot get the check directly. The bank will go to the seller and give him the check and get the car with my present and give me the car with a letter to transfer it to me with payment that is equal to the selling of profit. It is from the investment that is allowed. That Islamic way allowed if it is done right and all those rules. The first one that is known in the investment that the bank will get to buy a certain commodity, promising to buy it with the profit. So they will buy it and then they sell it to that person with its principal plus a profit that they agree on. And on that way, it is allowed. And it is the seller is responsible for the car before he gives, and to take it back if there is any hidden flaws. And it has the condition of selling, but you have to be careful to the following. Some of the problems happen, some is not accepted. Some they allow the person who wants to buy to be representative of that bank. So instead of I go to sell it, you look for the car and buy it under my name. So I put you as a representative of me, not you. And when we close, I will give you a final contract where I take the ownership. So some of the observers they allow that. The way that we have mentioned to make it easy. They said for the profit in Bahrain they said the following. You're supposed to buy themselves from the seller beside the person who wants to buy it. Somebody from the bank need to go and buy it, not the person who's going to buy it later. And do not put the other one only when there's a desperate need for it. And they put several factors. What is meant to make sure that the seller did not sell what he does not own. That's why the murabaha, it is a negotiation in the beginning, because you did not own yet. But you sell after you own it, because the Hakim al said, the Prophet do not sell what you don't have. Just to make certain that you did not sell what you don't own, and you did not profit of what you cannot guarantee, and you didn't trick with that to make a riba contract. So what are these protection values? The first that you cannot have just unlike you to but you uh, to to buy it under my name. I want you to sell it to me under my name. No, you cannot. But the institution, it is the one that sells it to him. From that, the institution sell themselves. Like the representative of the bank goes to the seller, and the not to put it in the account of the buyer, and take all the documents to make sure that of the true selling, and to separate between the two guarantees. You have to separate between the guarantee of the institution and the one representing the company. Without, when you buy, the commodity becomes under his own guarantee, and he will sell it. Uh, so that period between following the to buy it and to make the contract of murabaha by declaring that it will have to happen with that way. So there will be no jumping to the short way to do this. Historically, the board of trustees, they will look into all the exception that the executive part do. The executive part, what they do, it so his understand to the rules of Islam and the importance of every part. That is very important. So they used to try to make it easy and to shorten the steps. Instead of sending someone from me to look at the car and to buy it, and we have to pay and to bring him back and sell it to me. So they say, why don't we go and buy whatever you want and bring me the bill. He will write it and he put it under his, like he's getting he put his own profit. That means it becomes a riba loan. There is no buying or selling. So to put it that way, this is a complete riba. That's why it says with the separation between the two guarantees from the execution from the buyer. These are protected to make sure that the bank did not sell what he did not own, did not profit what he did not guarantee, and then to use this to make a loan. But I'll tell this brother, if the bank has a trustee board that you can go to see what is the allowance of this kind of transaction, and if there is any doubt, a minor one, so you might forgive the minor one because of the common problem and the insistence and the need and the seldom options and the spread of the riba culture. And may Allah have mercy on the person who said, no one shall deny light that has darkness where he has a light there is no darkness in it. So today's questions today, someone he took 1 million from his cousin. He forgive someone took million jinn in his inheritance from his brother, and he forgave the rest to his nephew because there is no cash. And there was some estate to fulfill the inheritance, and he knows that the cash is bigger, far bigger than this. But out of ignorance with the value, he gave that inheritance and he signed the papers and that he have fulfilled his right. After 3 years, he came back and wanted to take back what he had. So does the other one give him that left money? So what is the donations? It could forbidden, forgiven what's in there. You're given your right. So in donations, from you forgive what is ignorance, then in the compensation. That means I came to the masjid. I said I have a pledge to the masjid, 10 to for the I said how much? He said no, I would surprise you. Someone says this is wrong because they tell us how much. No, I don't have to tell you how much I'm going to donate. So it's forgiven in the donations from the ignorance, what is unknown than what in other dealings. But if you say, I want to buy this equipment, how much? I'm not going to tell. No, you have to be specific what you are buying or selling. But in donations, no, it's forgiven what is unknown than what you don't do in the buying and selling. So I tell my brother, remember the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, we don't have the example wrong where the person go back on his word like the person who is eating his own throw up. And don't, if you live something for Allah, forget, خلاص, no, Allah will compensate you. And He's the best of compensator, sustainer. You take it as a charity to your nephew or a given for them. So I hope that you'll be rewarded for it, and do not waste your good deed with going back on this. And get from Allah's gentle things what did not even come to your thoughts. Can you sell the medicine that has bills for from marijuana or other kind of drugs? And can we sell it? So I said to stop from curing yourself from the things that are forbidden is when there is other alternatives. So if there is alternative, you don't have to go with these forbidden things. But there is no need or the importance, then that importance of curing allows you to take the things that are forbidden. So if these medicine, there's no way around it, and nothing will take its place, then it is allowed in this situation. From the scholars who went that curing, you cannot use it to use the things that are forbidden. And you don't eat the deceased. For example, Allah talked about the deceased Allah has forbidden you the mayta, the deceased, and the meat of the pig to the end of the ayah. They are the same. Allah said the benefit of the thing are forbidden to keep alive is okay. If you took one sandwich that is from pig just to stay alive, it is okay. But in the medicine, you might not work. What is certain, but the benefit in the medicine, it is assumption, because the nature wanted to someone who eats the disease when he is forced, who don't go beyond what you can. Your soul dislikes it. As a nature of a Muslim, you don't like it. Where in the drugs, you say, "Oh, can I have some more?" So there's difference between what goes into the drugs and the ones who are using things are forbidden to stop the hunger and so on. What looks to me, Wallahu alam, this is a difference in place to have medicine. It's not the same way it was before. The benefit of the medicine is almost certain. We know the benefits can happen. At least there's certainty, or it will be something that is very close to certainty. So some of the scholars that they trust in the medicine more than what we do nowadays. Because the difference between medicine at that time and our time, what we take from the scholars, it was closer to his time and does not mean it has to be in our time. For example, if you have the pancreas, this is, you have to go and do that emergency surgery. The benefit, it is for soon. It's different than before, where you use a lot of medicine, and the benefit, it was more assumption that it is for sure. That's the difference between the time now and the time before. Ibn Uthaymeen was asked the following. He was asked, the heart surgeon, they might put a vein that takes from a pig, even though the one from the metal one could rust, but from the pig it could be much better. It could be from the human. So what is the rule on this? So he said, nothing wrong with it. A human being can put his heart with another animal and look what is more suitable for his heart. Because this is not from the food. Allah has forbidden the eating of the pig, and that's not eating it. And we know that nothing benefits him like that. This is from the emergency. And Allah said about food. So to talk about putting the vein, it is less than what Allah put of what He has forbidden, except what you have to. The last question we conclude. Two brothers, and they were breastfed together. They embrace Islam. Does their Can they still be married? No, because if they were brothers and they get married, are we gonna let them stay? No, because they are brothers. So just like he cannot continue his own sister and not to keep it, so he should stop it immediately. And we said, what happened from this marriage? It is their kids for different reasons that Omar used to allow the people to their fathers, and any marriage that their people think of its existence, then it is accepted, even though it might not be right in its way. For those who waited late time, those who spend their money in the sake of Allah and they don't follow it with and harm, they have their word from Allah and they're not saddened. Does that mean they forgive the sins, even the big ones? My son, may Allah bless you. Allah the Almighty says, Allah does not forgive that He will be with partners to Him. He forgive him who wish beyond that. Those who are disobedient, except shirk, it's up to Allah. He could, if they repent, Allah will forgive them. Allah said, tell those who disbelieve, if they stop, Allah will forgive them. Someone drank, and then he has stomach, and then he died. So whomever died unrepentant from the sins and whomever died and did not repent as matters to Allah. Because Allah does in His religion whatever He wants. Allah can do whatever He wants. And if He is punished, it's not eternally like those who from the view of the book, because you could go through so many things that's gonna forgive you, or Allah will give you so many calamities that you will be patient and then you will get the reward from Allah. All that are filters and forgiveness for your sins. And he could become with big deeds with the right intentions. What with this could be. But we are hoping that Allah will have mercy and we can regain your repentance. Do as much obedience and say abundance of obedience to Allah and rush into the good deeds, because the good deeds they wipe the bad deeds and make something between you and Allah of the good deeds. But if he died and you're just looking, did Allah forgive him? This is a waste of time, because only Allah knows that. Subhanallah. We are hoping for the good doers and we are fearful of the sinners. We don't say Jannah is for anyone except Allah Azza wa Jal witnesses for him. And we don't let someone in the hellfire. And there's so many ayat that is very, if we just say because of this, and we leave everything to Allah. And this will take any burden. I was in a trip in the weekend. From the question I was asked, they are Muslims. They are with good manners. How could we say they are in the hellfire? They could be the good deeds. Maybe, and it looks more than what the Muslims do. We tell them, we put the facts, but how it applies to a certain person or a society, that is, we leave it to Allah Azza wa Jal, who created them and He is responsible. Allah does not forgive anyone who have this partners with him. Allah will not forgive anyone who died and he committed sin, that sin against Allah. If he had delivered the message, then he's responsible. Those who did not reach that message of Allah, could be a lot. Allah knows what they were doing. There is a test. Uh, Test and 12, and he passed 10, and they have 2. Some candidates take him go to the next level, but if he missed all of that, he cannot go and he cannot go back. They'll give him an extra. They give him another. They don't make him wait another year. They give him a test and work to do. If he passed, then he don't need to go and return the 7th. And the same thing in the Day of Judgment. The test for 4, the one who died in the period, the one who is deceased, the foolish, and the one who have Alzheimer and is confused. These, they came with a reason. He said, Wallah, your message came to me and I did not hear anything. The kids were throwing and making fun of me. So Allah will take covenant that they will follow him. Then he will give them a test at the Day of Judgment. He said, whomever obey Allah, Allah will enter Jannah, and those who wouldn't, he will throw them in his face. So have a good thought about Allah, and be careful about Allah's justice. Allah does not do wrong to his servants. But be careful to think that someone who disbelieves in Muhammad as a prophet and the Quran as a book and monotheism, and he believes in Trinity, and take the son to Allah, and there is all that was taken out, and then he does on this insistent. This is lying on Allah Azza wa Jalla. To one of the people over 50 years, difference between us and those people, just the Trinity. Everything is good, so why you're upset? But the difference, this problem, the Trinity and monotheism, you have to look of Allah Azza wa Jalla's measurement. Did you hear Allah Azza wa Jalla saying, Allah has taken a son? It's not something minor. Allah said, you came with something very, that's very false, that the heavens were about to break and the earth about to collapse with them, and the mountains were about to collapse out of this claim. You're saying that it's nothing. So you have to glorify what Allah glorified, and what Allah made it very glorified. And the son of Adam, he cursed Allah, and he's not supposed to. And he denied me, and he's not supposed to do that. His denying to me, he claiming that I cannot resurrect him. And the creation of this earth is easier than bringing it back. And his cursing that he claimed that I have a son, and I'm the one, there's no one like it, and I have no one like it. Ameen. She made iftar for her birthday because she was busy studying. She's still required to fast, and that's not a reason to break your fast. You still do in the prayers. Whoever Allah allowed you to make up, do it immediately. If you delay it with no excuse, you have to be the kafara to feed the needy. He opened the grave on his father after 15 years. He didn't find him better to the Qibla. Can he straighten the Qibla? Yes, he can. There is no taking out of the. This is just redirection without violating the deceased secrecy. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.